Hi traders, Nick Shaheen here. Create income with options spreads on MarketFi. Recapping the trade ranges for 10-2, 2014. I routinely do this in order to keep myself honest. I do it whether I guess I'm right or guess I'm wrong. It doesn't really matter. I need to know that I'm doing the right stuff. Today was wild, and it would be as good a test as any to actually true them up. So what I have here in front of you is each individual index. For example, let's see, let's put the SPX here instead of the ES. So this is the intraday SPX, and before we go there, I'm going to bring in my note from this morning that went out to all members. So SPX right here, you can read it with me if you can. I'll voice it. SPX 1950 is still a decent line of support. Thank you, Avast. But pressure is strong, obviously, right? So it will need help today. I said it's still a decent line of support, even though we looked pretty ugly. That's before the market opened, and yet we actually revisited the 1950s plus, so that held up. And I said if that breaks, basically 1945 to 1920 is a squishy area where you have collective support, not one strong individual line, meaning it's like a rubber band. So price can go through it, but boing, it bounces back up. I said 1905 is much stronger line of defense, and the 1900 is even stronger. No clear lines of resistance other than the market sentiment itself. That's the SPX, right? So again, the numbers were 1950, 1945 to 20. I moved that out. So 1920 was the bottom end of my rubber band area defense, and it came to 1926. 1950 was it wants to migrate up there because it was the line of support. They tried to run it up. 1952-ish, I think, was the high of the day. That's one line. Okay, so what about its sister, the SPY? They don't always trade in tandem exactly, so we have to look at them individually. 196.5 is the start of strong support, but obviously we were going to open already lower. And then I said, since that happens, 194, 193.5 are decent lines of support today. And then, but if they break 193, less so, but builds back up at 192. Okay, so I said 194, 193.5 will be some support, but if they break, 193 is not going to stop anyone. 192 much better. So this is the SPY right here. Obviously 194, 193.5 broke right here. We stalled at them, 193.5, and then decided, nope, wait a minute. Lagarde spoke and whoosh down to 192.35, bounced right back. And 197 is the high open interest and somewhat resistive. I said so, and oh, the most important part of it, actually. The last statement right here, I said, bulls should consider the win if they can hold their ground. They should not have aspirations of rallies today. This is before the market opened. Where did the SPY close? Flat. That's called holding your ground. Okay, this is the champ of the day right here. Nobody believes me? This is the champ of the day. This is the only level of support that was strong enough for me to stand behind all week. 1080, 1070, and 1060. Starting with 1080, strong support today. No other significant lines. Remember that today is the last day you can trade that. Always a reminder. So basically, the 1080 was going to hold ground. I have no other lines. Verbally, I communicated the fact that a good spot to expire it, to settle it tomorrow is at 1100, and they don't have any reasons to go beyond 1105. So we'll see where they settle it, the market makers. So 1080 was going to hold, right? And yesterday, the RUT did not, the small caps did not outperform on the downside badly. Did not underperform, I should say. They were in line, if not even a little better. And today they were first to spring up. 1080 was going to hold. Well, they broke through it a little bit to 1078. But if I had a credit put spread below it, or if I had a position that was starting to lose money, I knew where the bottom was going to be. I held my ground, or I didn't chase it into the open if I knew that that was going to be the case. So information that you can act on regardless of how you trade. And then like magic, we ran up to 1100, and then we fizzled down into the close. The sister of IWM, of RUT, is IWM. I said in theory 109 is strong support for IWM. So if headlines stay quiet, which they didn't, we could, that was on purpose, see a small bounce towards 109. Where did it close? 108.80, but in fact we did pierce 109. So I said we should see a small bounce toward 109. I said 108 is a small support. 107, 106 also area of support today. So 108 should have slowed them down. 7 and 6 should have held them. I said there's a high number of puts at 104 this week, but it's not a magnet. It's just somebody betting on the really bad scenario, which didn't happen yet. If it happens tomorrow, I'll be surprised. But where's the IWM? Nowhere here, so let's put it right here. This is intraday IWM. I said we're going to try to hit 109, and they did in the morning, but then they failed miserably. And then I said 108 will be some sort of a break area, so this is a 107.5, 108. And then down to, I said 107, 106 will be much better support, so 107 was the area where they wanted to support it. And then bounced. Triple Qs, they're right here. I said, we can show it to you as well. 98, still strong support. But here too we need quiet headlines. We didn't get them. We could see a small pop or stabilization, no other defensive line. I said if 98 breaks, I said that yesterday as well, 95.5 is the no other defense until 95.5. So if this loses, you know, hold your breath. I said 99 is the start of resistance. Okay, so they tried to hold the 98 area or close to it. They couldn't, failed miserably. 95.97 just jumped right back up, and they didn't visit the resistance. We'll see tomorrow if they try to run it up, if the resistance will hold up. Of course, these numbers change every day, and I do update them every day. Apple, I said 100 and 101 are the high points of interest as far as open interest in the options. They are both resistive, so at best I expect it to hold current levels, also headline dependent. I said 98 is small support, start of support, but the support really is spread across a region of 98 to 96, like an area rather than one line of defense. So 98, right there. It's at 98.04. That's like the start of support. Missed it by 4 pennies. And again, it got to 100 and then said, no, I don't have enough oomph to break 100. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But this was based on today and updated daily. Now, one thing I wanted to note, you see all these bottom, well-organized markets we have here. So let me zoom in on this one. Actually, let me change to the ES so it shows. Whoopsies. Okay. I am dyslexic today. I apologize. There. One of those days. I wanted to zoom in on this one. Look at this. Well-organized markets, right? This is the ES. This is the S&P, the minis. And let's see here. Let's go to TF, which is small caps. And let's zoom in on the low of the day too, and which happens to be at exactly the same second. I'm not saying the markets are rigged. I'm just saying they're well organized. You see this one right here, this tick? See this tick? Those are exactly the same time. You can see my cursor moving, and you know, you'll see that in everyone. If I do the NQ, you'll see exactly the same thing. Even Apple probably too. So well-organized markets. Okay, back to levels. Apple and Google. We did Apple. Google, I said 565. I won't read it to you, but it's right there. 565 is the start of slightly better defense. I said 570 small support, broke through it like butter. 565 better, poked through it, but then held. I said there's some resistance, so don't chase it up, but then know your lower support. I said it's not too convincing, the support, so I wouldn't be too confident behind it. So, you know, that's the daily pre-open note that goes out to everybody, and it comes via email, and that's just a portion of it. These are the levels. I have a whole write-up before it that actually shows everything else there is to it about the market. So this is what's going on. And if you're not getting this information, let me know, and I'll show you how to get it. Again, this is Nick Shaheen with Create Income with Option Spreads on MarketFi.com. Looking forward to hearing from you.